Yeah.
Oh!
Center, so I told him, yeah, and I'm like, okay, Dad, go.
Yeah.
So that's how we ended up finally being able to get one. But
Well, that's like I look
how
around.
fast it went.
I look around and like I could get a spot for him in Walla Walla. You know, I can get a spot for him up at Skagit County Fairgrounds. And I'm like, I can get you a spot. And he's like, how long of a drive is that? I was like, 4 hours. He's like, I'm out. I'm like, well, I tried. I'm sorry, you know. I can't get you 10 minutes from your house. I apologize.
The VA has been really good about getting people. Like I know people have already had their second
Yeah.
through the VA, which that's very.
And that's what's happening at the fairgrounds right now. From what I've looked on the website, they're giving people the second shot. So they can't give the first shot to people right now because they're in the process of all the first shots they give, now giving the second one.
Good.
So,
Good.
Yes, the next pandemic, hopefully they have it all worked out.
Well, don't even say that.
I'll take a pass.
That is like a preacher, that's how this were to slap upside the head.
yeah.
The next catastrophic event.
So how does this one,
I don't need that either.
how do we log on to this one? Because we got to start in like 2 minutes here.
Yeah, I've already got it recording, it says live, okay.
But for the,
Oh, don't we have to turn some stuff on here so we can see everybody? How do we do that?
Right up here, that is beyond me.
this one?
Yeah, up here, you have to turn that on too.
Get a ladder.
Oh, that's business. Ben?
Anybody have the Chiefs number?
Your pen.
Oh, I stole it from that one right there.
Oh.
Or
Right here?
borrowed it.
Hey, so if you hit.
Yes,
I don't know what, can't remember the computer song.
acquisition.
I believe it's moving.
So does it do two separate recordings or there's no cost?
What's that guy from,
No, there
Oh,
is.
Bazooka Joe.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got to log on to this one. Because we got to start the meeting on the Zoom meeting also.
Do you want to do this, or you want to pause? That's not right, let's stop. Other than you just shut it down.
I love his best that he got for.
Okay, all righty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Doesn't block anything.
Like the other ones.
Well, you're off. I'm okay as far as I know.
Thank you, Gina.
Thank you.
Don't you push a button up there to turn it on?
It's either remote or the chief
Oh,
has
that's
to
right,
reach up
there's
there
a
and.
remote control somewhere. Where are they hiding it?
Right here.
Oh, over
Right
here.
in front of the, I think, it could be a remote for something completely else, different.
Hi, are you in
Easy.
the facility yourself?
I don't know.
Need you for something up front here, so.
Chart projector, I think that's that,
Thank you.
right?
Somebody comment?
He's on his way.
Okay.
Fredericks is acting up again.
I don't the light just turned green.
Bring your taser.
Did it
Did it
turn
turn
green?
on?
If it turned green, I think it's.
Second light just turned.
In case you forget who you are, Frank. Happens to be at least 3 or 4 times a meeting. I have to double check. Okay.
Got it. Covered.
Help!
Hi, everybody. Can you get this going?
Hey, it turned on. Like my house, I have 6 remotes, I don't know what half of them do.
I'm tired. Not the world.
The big old box of electric cords.
Yes.
Like 2 pieces of pod then, okay.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm gonna really start at 4 o'clock this morning.
I had to put like Sharpie marks next to the ones that turn the DVD.
I would not like to have my sleep.
I thought Gina was going to do it, but she said
I
she
get it
didn't
all
want
on
to do this one, so
Okay.
now we're late.
That's okay. You already, the mayor already gave everybody.
Yeah, a couple.
Put them down.
The what for?
Huh.
Nice 2020 Chevy pickup, the whole stuff. Hey, we still got time on it, let's go see how the four-wheel drive looks up the road.
In a U-Haul?
Well, a U-Haul truck, it's a Chevy 2500
Oh.
pickup, but yeah,
Oh, I thought it was.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Trucks.
Had the movie Jackass. with-
had them too, but yeah.
You haven't seen that?
No.
They rent a car. And they go, we'll go, you know what, we'll go ahead and take the full coverage. And then turn it back on us. It's just demolished. It's just demolished. It was just like a horrible
Oh,
accident.
and that's what, they had a little, getting it out. I don't think we did, broke it up too bad. And the wife goes, that's why we got the insurance for, sweetie, don't worry about it.
Yeah. I've never seen any of the
Hi, everybody.
What's that?
I said, hi, everybody. I got you going here.
Hello, Chief. You're going there? Mr. TV, what I'll do is anybody that's shown up to the meeting physically will have an opportunity to speak. And then after that, I've started a list here for the online folks. So once that happens, I'm going to call, we've got one speaker ahead of you that's coming online. And then after that speaker, then we'll call on you and you'll have 5 minutes, okay? Perfect, thank you. All right, you bet, thank you. Thanks for letting me know.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, what do we need to do to get this on the big screen here?
The overhead projector needs to be turned on.
Yep, it's on.
Okay, and then take the remote and hit OK again. And it should fire up and make sure the HDMI cord is plugged into the computer.
It is.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, it's not showing up on the big screen.
What do you see, Jim, on the screen?
I see the four focus, adjust height, enter.
So the center button on the remote, you need to hit that. It's got like a little arrow with like down and to the right or left.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to be right under it.
Got it. They just went to it.
Something's happening. Oh, hey, we're in.
It takes 5 people to get it. You can do it.
Okay, you're on your own. I'm out of here.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Smith.
Hi. Are we,
We'll get started here in just a minute when I hit record, and what I'll have you do is I will have you call the meeting to, I'll call the meeting to order, and then I'll have you, we'll start the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and hit record, but I'm going to have you take roll this evening since I can't see who's in the room.
Okay.
I don't see any council members online this evening, so I just need to know who's in the room.
Okay.
And then from there, I should be able to take it over from there. When we get to the end of the meeting, I'll give you certain instructions to get us over to the executive session, okay?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, stand by, let me hit record.
This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, everybody. It is 7:06. It is Monday, March 1st, 2021. This is a regular meeting for the City Council of Woodland. At this time, if I can get everyone online to mute themselves, and when we get to the portion for community comment, we will call upon you one by one. At that point, you can unmute yourself. At this time, I'll have everyone stand and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Smith, will you please take the roll?
Councilmember Rounds?
Here.
Here. Councilmember Chapman? Here. Here. Councilmember Fredericks?
Here.
Here. Councilmember Plaza?
Here.
Here. Councilmember Graham?
Here.
Here. Councilmember Holland?
Present.
Present. And Councilmember Smith is here.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let me pull up the agenda again here. This evening we have one proclamation to go over, and it is for Red Cross Month, and I'll go ahead and read that now into the record. Red Cross Month, March 2021, whereas the American Red Cross is a humanitarian organization that eases people suffering during life's emergencies throughout Southwest Washington, Oregon, across the United States, and around the world. Our Red Cross, Cascade Region and Southwest Washington Chapter has a long history of helping our neighbors in need by delivering shelter, care, and hope during disasters, making our communities safer through providing life-saving blood, teaching skills that save lives, and supporting military, veterans, and their families. And whereas this year, the Cascade Region, more than 3,000 volunteers helped the families affected by over 650 home fires by addressing their urgent needs like food and lodging and providing recovery support. Meanwhile, When large disasters like the fall wildfires devastated our region, volunteers from our area and across the country provided 173,489 overnight stays, 387,590 meals and snacks, 9,955 relief items, emotional support, recovery planning, and other assistance. And whereas the Red Cross continues to carry out the organization's 140-year mission of preventing and alleviating suffering. During the trying times of the COVID-19 pandemic, people have stepped up to help others in need, whether it was responding to this year's record-breaking disasters across the country or rolling up their sleeves to give more than 148,500 units of blood in the Cascades region when our country faced a severe blood shortage. This life-saving work is vital in strengthening our community's resilience. Nearly 200 years since the birth of American Red Cross founder Clara Barton was dedicated this month of March to all those who continue to advance her noble legacy, and we ask others to join in their commitment to care for people in need. Now, therefore, I, William A. Fenn, resolve that the City of Woodland does hereby declare the month of March 2021 as Red Cross Month and encourage all its citizens to join in this observance, dated this first day of March 2021. And with that, we will move to items for citizen communication for items not on the agenda. Mr. Smith, is there anyone in the gallery this evening that has signed up to speak?
Yes, I have two people that are here that would like to give testimony tonight.
Okay, you go ahead and call on that first one, and we will go ahead and I'll start the timer for 5 minutes. Once please state your name and give us your topic of what you're here to speak on, and I will start the timer.
Okay, just give me just a minute here. I think we got to get a microphone for them.
Gotcha.
Bear with me. I'm going to try that. Double try.
That was easy.
Okay, last time you said we couldn't hear you very well. Is it okay if I take this?
Yes, please, refer.
Yes, so, I don't know what the
So we got Miss Buther that is going to give some testimony. Donna Buther.
Okay.
Yes, good evening. This is Donna Butler from Hollyberry Street, and my first topic is about how things are working there at City Hall, because we didn't get our garbage picked up this week, and all the neighbors were picked up, and our can was out there and it wasn't, and we understand human error, no problem about that, but my husband called City Hall and left a message and there was no reply, and I put a message on, I sent an email on the website to report it, and we haven't had any response back, and that was Friday, maybe around, I don't know when, Friday afternoon. So I was just wondering what kind of, how things are working down there at City Hall. Are they working down there? Are people on responding to phone calls? Are they not taking phone calls, just messages?
Are you hearing this testimony, Mayor?
Yes, Mrs. Butler, you should have received it. You said this was on Friday.
Yes.
I apologize for that. I will definitely look into this. Is your garbage still out by the curb?
No, there were people coming in the street, and so we took it off the curb, but we're waiting to hear back and ready to put it out there. There was no.
Or your other neighbors were missed? I missed that.
No, it was just our can that wasn't picked up. There's about 4 cans all lined up there, and so human error happens. I get it. We're not upset. We're just wondering though why we haven't heard back from the city. And
right,
so
that concerns me as well. I'll go ahead and look into that. And are you still needing the service picked up tomorrow?
Yes, please.
Okay. Mr. Boyce, can you be sure that Mrs. Butler, I don't want to give her address over the airwaves here, so Ms. Butler, we'll look into it and we will let you know when the garbage truck is coming.
Okay, and then my second thing was I was just wondering when the proclamation that you have posted and made regarding the city being under emergency status, when that's going to be lifted. I know the county a couple months ago lifted their status, and I'm just wondering why we're hanging on to that for Woodland.
We're not hanging on to it. Actually, I've actually asked Mr. Boyce when we can lift that. We're working through that process. We're actually working through our procedures and everything to get our facilities back open again. So within the next month or so, you should be seeing that lifted.
A month? That's a long time to lift it. I know the county did it in one meeting. They just said, yep, they all voted. We don't need to be under that. So it'd be nice if that could happen a little more quickly. And yeah. And then there was just one thing I wanted to say to the council, and that was on the last meeting I was here on December 21st. I was just letting y'all know about a rally that had taken place in town. Then I went home and watched on Zoom, and later the mayor told you as council members that we were wasting our time, that we were barking up the wrong tree, and that we needed to be at Olympia. So I just wanted you to know that my understanding, what I've always learned, is that you always start at grassroots level. You start at City Hall. You come to your council members, and that's where you start. And then that same day, we did go to the county, and that weekend there were people at the Capitol, so we were following that process. So I hope that you don't feel that it was a waste of time. And I hope that you know that there are citizens that love Woodland, we care about Woodland, and if you ever need help with something, we're glad to help. I am anyway, so you can look me up. Okay. Okay, I think that's it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll be in touch, Mrs. Butler.
When you're ready, Mayor, I'll call the next person. We have Trish.
Yep, go ahead.
Trish Huddleston.
I didn't plan on speaking today. I was just coming to check it out because I think grassroots is where we need to start. I've been to a lot of county meetings. I've met a couple county or city council members. And I really feel like Woodland has a good group with common sense. I feel like these emergency orders are overbearing. It's too much. There's no emergency in Cowlitz. I mean, if you look at the numbers, I don't see an emergency here. Our kids are suffering. We're all suffering. I struggle every day. Every day I go grocery shopping, or not every day, but anytime I go to a store, like literally I'm shaking because I don't know what I'm going to get when I get in there. I can't. Inslee gives us a suggestion. However, all the stores, anywhere you go, you have to wear a mask. You have to cover your face. And some of us can't wear a mask for whatever reason. And I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. A lot of us are struggling. It's sad. I have 2 kids in school. They're struggling. I'm watching kids get addicted to drugs, alcohol. It's hard. And I think that we need to hurry up and get us back to school, get us back to work, get us back to normal. This is so degrading. It's inhumane to make us cover our faces when there's been several studies throughout history, throughout the years, that show healthy people don't wear masks. So where did all those studies go? Where did all the science go? Why all of a sudden it doesn't matter? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And it's really hard for me to even go through the day without it just overbearing me because I can't handle it. Like, it's so hard. And watching my kids, it's so hard. So, Cowlitz County has said they're open. They can't save the businesses from, the liquor board and stuff, but look at how much stuff he's fought. And they're still open, and there's been no cases. There's no science showing that this virus has spread at restaurants, but they're all closed. So I just wish that we could be rational, use some common sense with these mandates or suggestions or whatever Inslee wants to call them. I'm sick of being discriminated everywhere I go. I mean, there's a few stores here I can go in and nobody bothers me. Do you want a mask? No, thank you. Okay, that's great. So I don't know, I guess since I'm here, I thought I'd talk. I plan on coming more. Again, I feel like grassroots is where to start. We got people looking at open positions coming up at the end of the year, so we're going to get a lot more involved. So get used to my face because I'll be around. But really, guys, this is so hard for all of us, and it's so sad, and I feel like we're desensitizing. We're like training our kids and us to be afraid of people. Wear your mask. Stay away. Like, what kind of life is that? That's not America. That's not how we want to live, right? I mean, I just don't know what else to do. So I'll start with you guys. I mean, I just hope that you guys can. I really am still learning the structure of government and city councils and counties, and I'm learning all that better, but I feel like we can have a louder voice. It starts at grassroots, our little county. We've already got a good, I can tell, I've watched you guys. I can tell you guys have common sense. I can see it. And I know our county members do. So I just think we need to work harder, push back a little bit harder on Inslee and his suggestions, because this is not the way we want to live. I mean, is it ever going to end? And Fauci, I mean, who is this guy? Like, who picked him? Why are we all listening to one person? And why are all the doctors that have asked questions or spoke against, why are they all censored, fired? It raises a lot of questions. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Smith, is there anyone else in the gallery this evening for items not on the agenda?
No, there's nobody else in the gallery tonight.
Okay. We'll go ahead and move online. Ms. Brown, give you 5 minutes if you want to make your comments for items not on the agenda.
Hi. I spoke a little bit at the last meeting about my concerns with outsourcing our billing. I still have concerns with that, and I truly can't understand how any additional cost isn't seen as additional cost, because if we're not losing employees, then regardless of where you take out of the budget, it's an additional cost if you, for whatever billing that you're doing. I'm not sure where those employees are getting filtered into. I did see they were posted another position for Public Works. I thought it was utility clerk, but I can't remember for sure. So I'm not sure why we're hiring if we're looking at outsourcing. But one complaint that I have regarding outsourcing is I know that we outsourced our meter reading, 10 years ago, and I have had nothing with my meter and I brought this up the last meeting, for the longest time. I just got a bill that came by email saying that it was $502 for 3 people. I do not have a leak. I checked it today. I do not have a leak. I also, when I checked it today, on my bill, it said that my previous reading was $128,750, and it went to $132,350. When I look at my meter reads $110,447. When I open up my neighbor's box, which is right next to it, so far we haven't got to where you can read the meter, and we've dug like 1.5 inches down. That's one of the problems where you get when you're outsourcing, is that those people don't care. They don't live in our community, and they could really care less. And so now I'm sitting here wondering, because I've brought it up to the city before, that I thought that they were reading my neighbor's meter as mine, because they water their lawns, that kind of stuff. I don't do that because I don't want to pay a super high bill. And there's no way that my meter has been read correctly for God only knows how long. If my meter today is $110,447 and it was read at $132,350. So either they're just picking a random number and going with it, And I have low use in the summer, and I have high usage in the winter, and that doesn't make sense. And that also then affects the sewer and everything else. And so that is my concern. Like, when we have our own people in the community doing our meter reading, we could just go to them and say, hey, we've had a lot of things going on, what's going on? And like, my meter should have been read in July because I had a break at the meter in July with water just pouring out. And they thought it was my neighbor's meter because my neighbor's meter was so covered that they didn't know that there was another meter there, and you can't see my house. And so I for a number of years have said my meter's got to be wrong. There's something's got to be going on. I have had leaks that I've taken care of, but obviously I've been being charged for a long time my neighbor's water usage. So I also did a bunch of looking around and like looking at what the average is for like a 4-person family, what a 2-person family is, and my usage fluctuates anywhere between twice. I've had my meter not say anything. I'm assuming because they didn't know which meter was which because they could only find one. So I literally had the base rate, and then the next month I had like a $700 bill. And then, but I fluctuate between 1,600, whatever units you use, to 5,100 without changing people, and I don't want on. And usually it's in the winter time when I wouldn't be using water to water anything. So, I mean, if I'm an average family of 4 and I've only got 3 people here, I should be using around 3,200 a month, or not a month, but bi-monthly. But I also looked around to what our surrounding communities are doing. Like, it's listed all of Clark County, Vancouver. You can look online and see what their rates are. Looked at Kalama, looked at Bellingham. Anybody who published their rates are, and Woodland is 2 to 3 times the rates that the other communities are. And it's something that I brought up in January. I brought it up at the last meeting. I don't understand why our rates are so high. I mean, it would be helpful if I was getting charged the right amount in the first place, but, and I would like to actually know what is going on, that our rates are so much higher than everybody else. And then my last question is, if there's decisions that are being made after the executive meeting, and if the meetings get opened back up, or how that works.
So the executive session, there's no action that will be taken after tonight's executive session. So the conversation will be held. I'll jump back on here and let everyone know that the executive session is over, and that would be the end of the meeting. Well, I'll need some council members to make a motion for that, but so the council will jump back on, but there will be no other discussion on any items after we go into executive session this evening.
Okay, because I've looked at some of the reviews from Minol, and there's a lot of questions about, like, whether I would question more, like, do we want to get involved with the company when they've lost some of their biggest accounts because of customer complaints. So, and I know you said that you didn't think that we were going to be moving on with decisions on that until later into the summer, but you never know what comes out of an executive session and whether or not you can go. I wasn't sure if you could go, okay, we're going to executive session, and then you come out and then vote on things afterwards where then nobody's there anymore.
Gotcha. And sometimes there is action, but it would be listed on the agenda that after the executive session there would be, we try not to do that, but sometimes we can't get away with it, but there would, meaning that we don't have an opportunity to have discussion at the beginning of the meeting and then go through the full meeting. This is one of those times that it's always listed out though on the agenda that the executive session, if there's actions afterwards, it will be listed on the agenda. So it's clear and transparent that, yes, we'll be coming back. But you're right, some folks think the meeting's over once we do that, and then they leave and don't realize that there's more action being taken. That is not the case this evening.
Yeah, and I'm going to follow up with Shannon tomorrow. She was not in the office today to try to figure out what to do, because it's not fair if I've been paying for hers water for however long.
Right, no, I agree, and that concerns me that you can't even see the other meter at your neighbor's house. So I've got that on my list to discuss that with the executive team to see what's going on out there and figure out where that other meter is. Did you ever find it when you were poking around?
I know where the meter is. So
okay.
When we had the water break in July, like it was a huge break right where the meter was, the pipe. So it was just spraying out 5/8 inches of water. And it was like going down the street. And so, and when the public were out there, the reason I knew was they thought that they called the right person. Suddenly I had no water. And so I called, I can't remember if I walked out there or if I called down the city to see what was going on. And they thought that they were calling the right house. If they could only see one meter, the other meter was still covered. So it hadn't been fed for I don't know how long. And so I was trying, so I know the meter is mine. I've always known that there were two because we were the first ones there. And so like I know for sure that I read the correct meter because I was there with Public Works in July.
Okay.
So,
all right. We will look into it, and we'll get somebody out there to look and see what's going on and get a reading on that other meter, or at least dig it out and see. And that's concerning to me. And I know that one of our own council members, Councilmember Holland, has made the same statements about a month ago that her meter has been covered up and she checks it every month. So definitely a conversation we need to be having with the meter contractor. So we will look into that, and hopefully you can connect with Shannon tomorrow. If not, please let us know, and we'll get somebody out there.
yeah, and thank you for your time.
You bet. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. Next up, we have Mr. TD. You've got 5 minutes this evening. If you could tell us your topic, and then we'll start the timer here.
Outsourcing is my topic, and I guess I would ask Ms. Rabb's comment/question about outsourcing. Was it a rhetorical question? Because I didn't hear any response back from anyone on it. So
typically during this time, when we have citizen comment, council, it's conversation between those that are speaking, even though that most of the time they're speaking to council, but you will not get a response from council. You only get a response from myself or the executive team if we're able to answer that question. This is an opportunity for you to address council, but there's no commentary coming back, I guess.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how we get these responses, because I think, one of the things that our city really needs is transparency and leadership from the council and from you as the mayor. So I guess my question on the outsourcing, I keep hearing the $150,000 is what we would pay them. We have roughly 1,800 meters. So if that's $86, I mean, it's de minimis dollars for some of us. Okay, I get that. But if we're trying to make it affordable for our community and for everyone that lives here, $150,000 is good money. And so my question is, on that $150,000, if we're going to be spending that money, how many employees do we have, butts in seats today, that work for the city of Woodland? And then after we outsource, please tell me the number of butts in seats we will have after that. The differential should be down. If you're going to tell me that we have 45 today, I would expect us to have 43 or 44 after we outsource. Otherwise, it is an incremental cost to the ratepayers here in Woodland. So there's my guess. I would ask, how do I find out those numbers? Or it's one of those things where we just get to throw things out and hope that we eventually get the information?
No, we can follow up with you. There's approximately about 35 employees, and through those employees, though, they're scattered out throughout the city with different disciplines that they do. Currently, right now, the hand that you brought up and Ms. Rabb has brought up, we have one employee that is handling the the building portion of it. When we go to outsourcing, that employee will still be retained, because we still have to have a point of contact for the billing. If we don't outsource, another employee will be hired in order to, because the outsourcing comes with monthly billing. If council's decided to go to monthly billing, which is going to be a requirement to bring on another additional employee, but at that same time, council asks that we look into what the difference is financially to retain an additional employee or to outsource the billing going into monthly. If we stick to bi-monthly, there will be no need to hire or outsource at all. This is simply because of a move to monthly billing. To answer your question, and I took some notes here to answer your question, right now we have one person doing the billing. After we outsource, we will continue to have one person. If we
there is an incremental cost to the citizens of Woodland, is what I'm hearing. Okay, that at least answers that we now know there is an incremental cost. That is a question people have been wanting to know, and nobody has gotten a direct answer, but now we have a direct answer, so I appreciate that fact. The next question I would like to know, so when we look at the rate increases for water, I've gone through, done some analysis here, and I would like to know what is the average usage for customers in the city of Woodland. I keep hearing a 7% increase. Okay, 7% increase assumes that the average household uses X number of gallons or CCFs of water. Because of the way it is today, where it's a flat rate plus usage, and that usage as is the same rate, regardless if I use 1,000 or if I use 3,000. Going to the new billing cycle or system that you're going to, that is a sliding scale. So somebody who uses more water actually will see an increase they could of 14 to 15% on their water bill. So if you calculate out somebody who uses 2,500 CCFs bi-monthly, it is an actual increase of about 12%. So I'm just curious, when we say a 7% increase, what we're using as an assumption for average water use for an individual family in Woodland. And again, it all goes back to making things affordable for the citizens of Woodland.
Okay, I won't be able to answer that question, but I can tell you that let's see if I can at least give you some information to help understand, and then we can circle back up with someone who can actually answer that question, because I don't believe that I can answer that question effectively or I don't want to correctly. We have a number of items. When you have the water and the sewer system, there is continual maintenance cost that goes along with that. There was a deficiency a number of years ago, and there's at least one council member on council now that could speak to that and explain that, and I don't know the years because I wasn't here at the time, and the majority of council was not either. Our water...
Will.
In an attempt to keep things affordable for the customer, our Woodland residents, there was never any increase to the rates to continue with the maintenance costs and the upkeep. So therefore, the fund was almost bankrupt. So now we have increased those over time. We've been able to maintain the system and keep the system on, but there are ongoing costs that come with that, and with their community growing, there are upgrades that need to be done. Part of these rate increases that you're looking at, and that's built into those, and we can hook you up with Director Coleman as well to kind of dive into a little bit more. We're required by the state to do certain things every few years, and this is one of those things that has to be done, which is a water study, and then we have a sewer plan, and we've got our water plan. But with that too, there's infrastructure needs that come, and all that is built into this rate. This is not a moneymaker for the city. This money that is collected is put right back into the system to maintain it and to grow it. So that's why when you look at new developments that are coming in, there are impact fees that almost, if you look at an impact fee as almost a late comer fee, that money is then taken, they've got an impact fee that goes into the system that can be used to help with those maintenance costs and those upgrades in the future. So it's a way to keep it going. And I know that's probably not what you want to hear when we talk about rate increases. They're one of those things that are necessary, but we're trying to do it effectively, and we have our experts that are out there giving us the numbers that are telling us what the needs are and where we're going to be in between 1 year 1 and year 6, and in year 4 or 5 we'll start the whole plan over again and start to study the entire system to see what the next impacts are going to be and what needs to be maintained and upgraded. For example, all the electronics at the water treatment facility, where all the clean water comes from, I believe it was last year, we had to spend $750,000 in order to upgrade the electronics because they were starting to corrode, they were starting to go bad, and things weren't working properly. So we had to upgrade that, we had to invest into the system, and that's where those rates are. We plan for those throughout the years, and that's why you see these rates that are going as they're going. Does that help?
So, the beauty.
Nope, you back, there you go. Nope. Your microphone keeps muting out.
I think it's something to do with the system. I've been watching it. It's been
People
doing
drop
Yeah, all of them are freaking out.
all of them are.
I
doing
understand.
that.
I can. And
I think we have some technical issues on your end there. I heard you say you understand. Would you like to have a conversation with Ms. Coleman?
yeah.
I think we're losing you there.
We lost you.
It was dropping out on our end on you for 10 seconds or so there also, Mayor.
Oh, okay. He's still flashing. There's still a few that are just flashing at me here. What we can do, Mr. TD, if you can hear me, we'll move on with the meeting until we figure out that we've got a better connection. And then we can circle back and you and I can have a conversation through this system towards the end of the meeting once I see that we're up and running properly again.
Yep.
Okay. Is there anyone else online that would like to speak to items not on the agenda? Now's your opportunity. All right, seeing nothing else. Mr. Smith, is there anyone in the gallery for items on the agenda this evening?
No, there's not.
Okay. Is there anyone online for items on the agenda that would like to speak? Now's your opportunity. All right, seeing no one else. Moving on to agenda approval.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Plaza, second by Councilmember Smith. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Moving on to reports of City Council.
Councilmember Graham has a report.
Councilmember Graham.
I just want to say that the Planners Day Committee does have a new royal court this year. We have Princess Gracie, Princess Caitlin, and Princess Caitlin.
That'll be easy to remember.
They have their tickets available, and
Yes, I know.
you can contact them personally. They each have their own little website set up, or you can go to the Planners Day website and find out their information if you would like to buy tickets from them. And we're going to be working on seeing what we can do for a Planners Day celebration this year, which will be June 17th through the 20th, and or a revised version thereof, depending on how things go. So the tickets are yellow, so if you see them someplace, you know they're good. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Graham. Anyone else? Reports of council?
Does not appear that way.
All right. Moving on to reports of standing committees. Finance and General Committee. Mr. Fredericks.
Yes, we met this evening. We did review leak adjustments. Looks like we had a few for about, I want to say it was close to $20,000. So we just reviewed those. Cowlitz County elections, we received the invoice. I believe it was 4.9% of the total bill is ours, approximately $12,000. That was for the election in 2020. We reviewed the finance report for December 31st and January.
Both revenue and expenses are in line. We also discussed a levy correction, which I believe, Ms. Anderson isn't here, but I believe it was an additional $24,000, or a reduction of $24,000 in total revenue on that. We discussed the Next Works, which is our spam filtering. I want to say that's what it is. Is that right, Mr. Smith? Am I?
Yeah.
We reviewed the pricing for that, and that will be coming for council approval. It did get referred out of committee with a due pass recommendation. Will be coming for council at the next meeting. We also reviewed our sales tax report from January 31st, a very detailed report by Ms. Ripp that we reviewed, and we adjourned. Our next meeting is scheduled for April 5th at 5:30 p.m.
Questions for Mr. Fredericks? All right. Thank you, Mr. Fredericks. Moving on to Human Resources.
Okay, we met today at 6 o'clock, and there wasn't really a whole lot to pass on. We discussed possible recognition for the Clerk-Treasurer that retired, and a meeting with the Teamsters, but that hasn't gone anywhere yet, so there's really nothing to report as far as that goes. And our next meeting will be on April 5th at 5:30.
Questions for Mr. Plaza? All right, seeing none. Moving on to reports of city officers. Myself, obviously, I'm remoting in this evening, which we have been attending meetings regularly since COVID-19 has commenced. At this time, my household has experienced a positive result, so we are in lockdown, and will be until next Monday will be our day out of the home. So I appreciate everyone's patience this evening of the platform and what we're going through. I would like to respond to just a few of the comments that were made this evening by the folks that were at the gallery, and I'm not sure if they're still there or not and can hear me, or if they've gone home and are joining online. I'm not seeing them on here. But it concerns me that there are citizens in our community that still believe that we're not open for business and that we're still hampering the function of every business within our community. The city of Woodland has no jurisdiction or power over that. We've made that perfectly clear, that we are in enforcement when complaints come in about businesses operating outside the governor's mandates and rules. We have never enforced, nor will we ever enforce, and I understand the need to get rid of the emergency order, and I have been working on that because I did pay attention to the county. I do pay attention to what the county is doing, and I did see that they said that they were no longer in a state of emergency, nor has that term been used in the city of Woodland since we started this process last spring. So it kind of bothers me a little bit that there are folks that believe that there is this grassroots efforts that needs to be made here in Woodland to get our businesses back open and get our city back open. The city's open. It has been open. Look at our sales tax revenue that are coming in. They've been increasing over time, and here we were told that they were going to go in the toilet, and that just simply isn't the case. So when I said that they're barking up the wrong tree, I meant it, because the city of Woodland is open, our businesses are open, and we're not doing anything to prevent them from opening. This is not, I appreciate folks coming and providing the message, especially when it comes to masks, and I understand that it is difficult at times. I understand that the schools are now going back. I can't help you with the school. The city cannot help you with the school. That is a completely different entity. And I hope that folks are attending their school board meetings to let them know how they feel. I appreciate them letting us know as a city and as a leadership team how they're feeling about the schools not being in person, but we can't do anything for them. That's a total different organization. It's like somebody putting a sign outside their business saying, no shirt, no shoes, no service, but you're going to come to city council and tell me that you're offended that the business is asking you to put on shoes. Then don't shop there. It's unfortunate and it's sad, but that's the state that we're in now. It is personal choice at this time. It is personal responsibility. If you don't want to wear a mask, that's great. Don't shop at the store. It is frustrating. I understand that. I'm frustrated with it too. I'm sitting at home going on week 2 of being in lockdown and not being able to go to work and being home with my family because of the rules that are in place. I'm choosing to follow the rules. The City of Woodland is not placing any undue burden on any business or any organization within our community. I want to make that perfectly clear. Thank you for coming and providing your comments this evening. Mr. Boyce. You're muted, Mr. Boyce.
How's that?
Better.
Perfect.
Okay. So I wanted to point out to City Council that we have some documents on your desk regarding the 3 action items from Public Works. And I just wanted to give you a little backstory why it was placed on the agenda without the quotes in hand. We did find some mold at 100 Davidson, the old City Hall building. We need to remediate the mold and fix a couple of leaks. One is in a window, and there's a small leak in a roof. The problem is it's not a good form of mold, and we store our records in that building, and we need to gain access as soon as possible because we do pending public information requests that we must comply with. So we're attempting to get this done quickly. I was hoping to have Public Works Director Coleman express a little bit of, give you some information about those 3 items quickly. Director Coleman?
Yeah, so there's a couple estimates that have been provided to you. One is from Anderson Glass Company. We have a window that is leaking at 100 Davidson, and from the leak this last year, it caused mold growth on the inside of the sheetrock. So that's where we have mold growth. And then, as you know, we keep the ventilation on in there. So as you have mold growth in a building and the ventilation goes, it can push it actually through the building itself. So we want to have the building tested. There also was a leak up on the 3rd floor where the fire department was asleep. And so when we went up there, we saw a ceiling tile that was up there had some black mold growth on it. As you know, we had not been in that building for about 4 months, so we had a slow drip that's coming from a nail on the top of the roof. And so it caused probably about a quarter, maybe a 50-cent piece size of black mold on that ceiling tile. Anyway, long and the short, in order to do mold remediation in a building, you have to stop the source of where the mold's coming in. So that means we need to get our windows resealed, and we're going to have to stop the leak on the roof. So, and we also have to make sure that if people go into that building, that it's safe for people to go in and out of the building, so there's no mold spores in the environment and so forth. So what you have in front of you is the first one. I don't know what order they were placed in, but let's just look at the one from the last company that came in. And so I'm asking that we go with a maximum value when we put this agenda together, that it would not exceed a certain value. And in this particular case, since we have 2 windows, I'm saying not to exceed $1,500 to get those windows repaired so we don't have any more leaking. And then the next one is 2 different contractors, Pure Maintenance Cascades and Road City Contracting. There's a couple different options that they have presented to us. I've walked through the building with both of those contractors and told them where we have concerns. And so they have given me a resource of how they would remedy the mold and also prevent it on some walls that we have that we need sealed, so on and so forth. It's the method that they use for remediation. So when I look at both these estimates that came to us, they're pretty close in scope, but there's a little bit of variance in there, and so I need to evaluate them. So I'm asking that we do a not to exceed $25,000 for mold remediation between these 2 companies, and then we'll figure out which is the best one to go to, because at this point, I need to figure out what's going to be make sure that both companies are doing what we need to when the mold remediation is completed, that we will not have a concern. There's a test afterwards, and they've pretty much guaranteed that the building's been remedied. So anyway, so that's what you have there. There's one estimate that I'm still waiting for. They'll come on Monday, and that's for the roof, to make sure that how much that roof repair is going to be. It should be a small repair, a small cost, but I don't have that one in front of me at this time, and won't have it until probably a couple days from now. So that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Coleman.
Yep. Thanks, Tracy. Okay, I also wanted to mention we have a WQCC meeting scheduled for the 3rd. It's at 6 p.m. and I will resend out the go-to meeting information. Planning Commission meets on March 18th, 7 p.m. and that's my report for this evening.
I apologize, I had a visitor. Questions for Mr. Boyce? From council, anyone?
No, I don't think so.
All right, seeing none. I'd also like to state for the record too that we are one of, and I know that I'm going back on what I just said, but as you can tell that I'm extremely upset about the comments that were made just a little bit. I'm rubbed a little wrong here. We're also one of the only cities across the state of Washington that continued to hold in-person meetings to allow people to show up to participate in their government. So it bothers me that we have people that are showing up suggesting that we're still not doing enough, and yet here we are allowing them to come in and voice their opinion and tell me what other meetings in public organizations that they can go and do that with. And I'll stop there. Any questions for any of the department heads, and we'll move on to consent items. Seeing none, moving on to consent items.
Move to approve the consent items.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Chapman, and I couldn't tell who the second was.
Councilmember Rounds.
Councilmember Rounds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
No nays.
The ayes have it. Consent item and passed. Moving on to action item C, authorize mayor to enter into a developer's agreement with Carbonito Woodland LLC.
I make a motion to approve action item C.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Rounds, seconded by Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Rounds.
No comment. It's something that needs to get done and taken care of, so.
Councilmember Smith.
No comment.
Further discussion?
Yes. I'm going to assume, Mr. Randolph, you've reviewed this. Okay.
Has Mr. Randolph reviewed the item?
He did reply yes.
He said yes.
Okay, sorry, I didn't. Mr. Randolph is in the room this evening?
Yeah.
Frank will sign it.
Yes, he is in the room.
Frank will sign it.
All right, thank you. Anything further? No? All right. Go ahead and take the roll on this. Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Action item C has passed. Moving on to action item D. Authorize the mayor to sign agreement for mold removal and remediation and authorize budget amendment.
Move to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement for mold removal and remediation and authorize the budget amendment not to exceed $25,000.
Second.
Was that Councilmember Rounds on the second?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Fredericks.
No discussion.
Councilmember Rounds.
No discussion.
Further discussion? Seeing none?
No, I got a
Hold on.
question.
Councilmember Plaza.
Oh, Councilmember Plaza.
Yeah, as usual. Just a real quick question. So if we're setting aside 25 grand, from what my previous understanding of the budget was, is that we had like zero leeway. What areas is this money coming out of in order to pay for this?
Mr. Mayor, I can answer that question.
Mr. Boyce.
So it would be general fund dollars. We would classify it in 518 facility maintenance. But we would have to expend the dollars from the fund balance.
Okay, so no like projects that are already planned or anything like that is going to be cut or postponed in order to pay for this?
Well, we had, I don't know where we'd make a cut to find that kind of money.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to make that clear. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anything further?
No.
All right. Go ahead and take the roll. Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Action item D has passed. Moving on to action item E. Authorize the mayor to sign agreement for window repair placement at 100 Davison and authorize budget amendment.
Motion to authorize the mayor to make the windows repairs at 100 Davison.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Smith, seconded by Councilmember Rounds. Councilmember Smith.
No comment.
Councilmember Rounds.
No comment.
I have a comment.
Further discussion.
Councilmember Fredericks has a comment.
Councilmember Fredericks.
So basically, if I understand what the motion is that is currently on the floor is a blank check, because this is a separate, this isn't not to exceed anything. This is a blank check to fix a roof leak repair.
Window.
Window, sorry. Am I on the wrong one? Say my first day?
We're on the
What page?
window guy.
We're authorizing a budget amendment for $629. You don't have $629 in the budget that's already been approved for use for a maintenance item. I guess that's my concern, is that you should already have $629 set aside for this type of maintenance. Is that what it's going to exceed? What is the cost of this action item?
Mr. Boyce.
Right. Initially, we had thought the repair was going to be more intensive, but right now we're asking for not to exceed $1,500, and I believe we can do that without the budget amendment. So my recommendation would be to qualify it not to exceed $1,500, and we really are able to find that money in the budget to cover it.
So the correct process then, this would be one that would be difficult to amend, so it would seem to me that the appropriate process would be to vote no on this and restate the motion in a second motion. That be appropriate? Is that the correct process?
I think that would work just fine.
Okay.
I'm going to need a recap of that. I've missed part of it. It's a little quiet in the back.
We're shooting it down.
Right. So the suggestion would be to vote the current motion down and then entertain a second motion.
Gotcha. Okay. Any further discussion?
Not to exceed 1,500, correct?
Huh? No, we're on E.
Just, can we just make a motion on top of this one to correct it? It has to be voted down.
You want to amend the motion? You can amend the motion. Anyone can do that.
No, we're just going to vote it down.
Okay,
Gets too muddy when you're doing a couple
Okay.
so I
things.
just take the vote then?
Yes.
All right, Councilmember Smith,
No.
Councilmember Holland,
No.
Councilmember Graham,
No.
Councilmember Plaza,
No.
Councilmember Fredericks,
No.
Councilmember Chapman,
No.
Councilmember Rounds.
No.
The motion has failed 7-0.
Bear with me and I'll make a new motion.
Mr. Fredericks is going to,
Sean, move on to the
Councilmember
next,
Fredericks is
to the
going to
next
make a
item
motion.
while you work on that.
Stand by a minute.
Gotcha.
Can you clarify exactly what action item we're on? I know Ms. Holland can.
Action item
E, thank you. I move to authorize the mayor to sign an agreement. Oh, I lost the second page.
For window repair replacement at 100 Davidson?
For the window repair replacement at 100 Davidson, not to exceed $1,500.
I'll second.
All right, moved by Councilmember Fredericks, seconded by Councilmember, was that Chapman?
Councilmember Rounds.
Councilmember Rounds.
Close.
By Councilmember Rounds. And the motion on the floor, authorize the mayor to sign agreement for window repair and replacement of 100 Davidson, authorize a budget amendment not to exceed $1,500. Councilmember Fredericks.
No, sir, that's not the motion. We are not doing a budget amendment on this item. You're finding it in the existing budget. So, no budget amendment. The motion on the floor is to authorize the window leak repair not to exceed $1,500, and you will find that in the existing budget.
Oh, I missed that last part, sorry.
Yep, no sweat.
And find it within budget, or that's what you're asking.
Correct.
Gotcha, okay. Let me read that back. To authorize the mayor to sign agreement for window replacement, repair and replacement at 100 Davidson, not to exceed $1,500 in current funding.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Perfect, thank you. Councilmember Fred, anything else?
No, sir.
Councilmember Rounds.
No comment.
Further discussion?
Me?
Councilmember Plaza would like
Councilmember
to
Plaza.
discuss this.
Okay. How did we choose this company to do this? Was it the only people that we reached out to?
Coleman? Did Ms. Coleman get dropped off? Oh, there she is.
No, I didn't hear what he said. I heard, is this the only company we reached out to, and what were we talking about?
Yeah, basically, I was
The
just
window replacement.
I was just curious how we chose these people. The process, not the whole process, but why?
I've reached out to others. I just don't have any information back from them.
Okay, yeah, because I'm not a window guy, so maybe I'm totally off my kilter here, but it seems like $629 to clean and recaulk a window seems like an awful lot, especially when on the invoice they state that they have no guarantee that they'll even do it correctly. So
council is comfortable. I absolutely would not have somebody come in and repair a window without a guarantee in place. So that will occur. I'm not going to have, but you got to remember, it's a commercial window. It's a big window. It's on the second floor, so it doesn't just require one guy. And you have to actually take all the caulking out of the window and re-caulk the whole area. And you got to remember, that's a cinder building. So really, I was surprised how low the cost was. Just so you know.
Okay.
I was expecting it to be more in $1,000 to $1,200 range for one window, and it came back what I thought was very reasonable.
Load, come and spit. Okay, no, that's good enough for me. You're the expert on those things. I was just curious, so.
Well,
Oh my God, don't give her a big head on that.
well, I thank you for the vote of confidence, but I did expect it to be much higher. Thank you very much. And I wasn't sure if it was just going to be caulking that needed to be done either. So, but we will not move forward without getting some type of guarantee that this will fix it. Otherwise, I'm not going to move forward in that and spend money for no guarantee.
All right, thank you.
Anything further?
Nope.
All right, thank you. We'll go ahead and take the vote. Again, this motion is on action item E, authorize the mayor to sign an agreement for window repair and replacement at 100 Davidson, not to exceed $1,500 in current funding. Councilmember Graham.
Yes.
She said aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith, did I get you?
Nope, not yet. Aye.
Thank you. And the ayes have it, 7-0. Moving on to action item F, authorize mayor to sign agreement for roof repair and authorize budget amendment.
Ms. Coleman?
Ms. Coleman would like
Ms.
to
Coleman.
speak.
We're going to have to postpone that one because I do not have, you want to write an open check. I have no cost for a roof repair at this time, so I ask that we hold off on that one, please.
We got 7 days, next couple of days, all right.
Chair, accept a motion to postpone or Ms. Coleman, what's the date that you believe that you'll have a cost for that? The next meeting, March 15th?
Oh, absolutely. I should have it by tomorrow, but it just didn't come in time.
Table it, kills it
Okay.
forever.
The chair will accept a motion, if council agrees, to postpone action item F to the March 15th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Fredericks, seconded by Councilmember Rounds. Councilmember Fredericks.
No discussion.
Councilmember Rounds.
No discussion.
Any further discussion? All right, seeing nothing else. All in favor say aye for postponement of action item F to March 15th.
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. All right. At this time, we move into executive session. Per RCW 42.30.110, Section 1, Subsection I, current and potential litigation. RCW 42.30.110, Section 1, Subsection G, performance of a public employee. RCW 42.30.110, Section 4, Subsection A, collective bargaining. It should be noted that for the first one, current potential litigation, there are a number of items that will be discussed underneath that RCW. The time is currently 8:11.
Mr. Finn?
The City Council will be in executive session for approximately 1 hour. At that time, we will come back and, if needed, create more time. Councilmember Smith.
Councilmember Fredericks has a question for you.
Councilmember Fredericks.
For the record, I want to clarify the reason entering into RCW 42.30.110, Section 1, G, the performance of a public employee, that we are not specifically talking about a public employee's performance at this time. Is that correct? Because there's a whole subsection underneath that of what is required for that public employee.
That is correct. If we were talking about actual performance, that employee would be given the designation either to attend the executive session during that portion or to hold that conversation in an open public meeting. We are not discussing actual performance, but we will be discussing, Mr. Boyce, could I say contract? Is that?
Well, you just said it.
Yes.
Okay, we'll be discussing the employee's contract, not actual performance. If we were actually talking, Mr. Fredericks is absolutely correct. If we were talking about performance, that employee would be invited to that portion of the meeting and how to hold that discussion, whether private or public.
And Mr. Mayor, City Attorney Randolph is in the room who suggested that exemption. So if there are questions, Randolph can entertain those also.
Anything else, Mr. Fredericks, or does that?
No,
Mr. Smith?
we are still on the public record, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that that was entered into the record, just to make sure that we're good there and that we're not doing something that's not on the up and up.
Nope, absolutely. We haven't left yet.
Thank you.
So we had problems with the YouTube connection, the YouTube quit, so that wasn't recorded. That portion of the meeting was not recorded.
Okay, I do have the recording going on the go-to, so we do have it for the record.
So you got it there.
But has somebody checked to make sure it's actually dead?
Maybe.
I'm logging in right now.
Maybe one of these
We'll turn it
times
off over
we
here,
can
too.
get everything to work.
We can kill it over here
The
too.
computer restarted, and I don't know Mary's password.
So the other thing,
Mr. Smith?
the other thing I think we need to put into record is an email that was given to us in paper regarding the water sewer rates. Do we need to put that into record, Pete? You're muted.
Your voice.
I'll get it right. Yes, email from Miss Melton Cox. She asked that I forward that to City Council. The copies have been distributed. We'll attach that to the agenda tomorrow, so the public can see it under comments from the public, or items not on the agenda.
Thank you. And before I give a new time to update for the city, Mr. Smith, you're going to need to close out, and I believe Chief Kelly is standing there to guide you into the executive session.
Okay.
Okay, when we're done with the executive session, you'll need to come back into this link again and open it back up so we can actually adjourn the meeting from City Council.
It's still going.
And Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I just pulled up the website and I do see the YouTube link still going.
Okay.
Mr. Fredericks get up and leave, and now Mr. Chapman.
Yep.
Where are you?
Oh, here comes Ms. Holland, our technical advisor.
The computer restarted, and I have no idea what Mary's password is.
Now it's back on.
Yeah, but I just seen that YouTube movie just went down. I just killed the power to the laptop.
Okay, so it sounds like he killed it.
Okay.
All right, is it no longer in function? We don't want this executive session recorded.